Hello and welcome to Ryno's Ravens preview. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. Huge matchup this Sunday night. The premier playoff game, at least thus far. Baltimore Ravens at the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo Bills getting one more win than the Baltimore Ravens, and that's why they're hosting this game. It's not just about two very good teams. It's Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson again. Last time this happened, Ravens also went to Buffalo, lost. This year, a little different. I feel like Lamar has matured a lot more as a quarterback, and so has Josh Allen. It does seem like Josh Allen is the forgotten third in this AFC quarterback who's the best conversation. You got Mahomes, you got Lamar Jackson. Sometimes you forget about Josh Allen just because arguing until the cows come home if you had a third guy in there. For the most part, it is Lamar Jackson versus Josh Allen for the NFL MVP, not just a right to go to the AFC Championship game and then the Super Bowl. So it looks to be a huge matchup. Differences between this game and the last time these two met in the postseason. I do feel like earlier in Josh Allen's career, the Buffalo Bills had a better team around him than they do now. And also a better team around Josh Allen than the Ravens had around Lamar Jackson. It's flipped now. I think Baltimore Ravens have a lot better pieces around Lamar Jackson than, let's say, the Bills having pieces around Josh Allen. That doesn't say that, in a year or two, these guys that are up there around Josh Allen are going to be better. For the most part, the Bills have had to replace a few guys more recently, and the Ravens have kind of been replacing this guy and that guy and bringing in this guy and adding to and keeping. Some benefit there for the Ravens, but we're going to have to see. Though, speaking of some of the pieces they brought in around a quarterback, as you can see, I'm on BaltimoreRavens.com. Let's get to the injury report. Only two names on here for the Baltimore Ravens. Zay Flowers, dealing with that knee issue. Did not practice Wednesday, Thursday, or Friday. Is listed as doubtful. I think, and I've gone over this several times as far as what's a percentage based on doubtful and questionable and probable. I would say probable is a 75% chance that they will play. Questionable is about 50-50. Doubtful, he's probably got a 25% chance to play. Those are ballpark numbers, not exact numbers. He doesn't exactly have a 25% chance to play. That's ridiculous. A lot of other factors play into this. Did see a workout video, Zay Flowers inside in their training facility doing it's a ladder drill. He appears to move okay. Now, playing football and doing a ladder drill inside is a little different. But there's good news there that he's on both feet and moving around on both feet and doing athletic things on both feet. So it's not like he's too far away. It's not cesarean surgery or a possible surgery or something like that. He really does have a chance to play. It's just a very low chance. To a certain extent, I feel like if this was a warmer climate, he probably would have a higher chance to play. I feel like injuries, and especially knees in the cold, don't mix too well. So if anything, he's doubtful because it's in Buffalo. Not that Baltimore isn't cold right now anyway. But I think if it was a warmer place, it might actually be questionable. Though, I really don't think he's going to play. I just He's not practicing at all. Okay, he's running a few drills. He's not doing any practices. That's not something that leads to you playing football games when you have an injury designation. Can it? Yes, it can. Will it? I don't think so. Look, I know Zay Flowers is really good and all, but, Bateman played really well this year. Isaiah Likely played really well this year. Mark Andrews played pretty good this year. Charlie Kolar played pretty good for being a third tight end, right? You've had a few guys step up. You got Mr. Miller, Mr. Sims, the relatively unknown wide receivers on the Ravens roster. They've been in there getting a few snaps, doing some stuff. Tylan Wallace, a few big walk-off, huge touchdown plays in his career. The punt return last year, and then this year is that, I guess it wasn't a walk-off. The punt return was a walk-off. The catch this year against the Bengals, it was a huge play. Wasn't necessarily a walk-off. So he's up and coming and such. Nelson Aguilar's kind of been like the odd man out, right? Zay Flowers has been pretty good, and Bateman's been pretty good. Tylan Wallace shows up every once in a while. Isaiah Likely, then Mark Andrews. You got to feed Derrick Henry, and then you never throwing the ball to Nelson Aguilar. He ain't never play. So I feel like they have other people that can fill in for Zay Flowers. Is Zay Flowers better? Sure. But it's not like he's the sole focus of their offense. I don't even know if he's a secondary focus of their offense. Because number one would be Lamar Jackson, and number two would be Derrick Henry. So, and then thinking about it, is Zay Flowers even number three? Because you could argue Isaiah Likely or Mark Andrews, or even a combination of them, is number three. You're really going to push it with maybe your third or fourth best offensive weapon? I don't know. I mean, as I've said throughout the last year or two, there's only one football. There's a lot of weapons around Lamar Jackson. Might just be a personal opinion, but I do feel that way. Look, you got Derrick Henry. You got to feed that guy, especially this time of year. Justice Hill is a very nice change of pace out of the backfield. He has seen some runs, and he's seen a lot of passes. Again, Isaiah Likely, Mark Andrews. Enough said there. Then you got the third option there in that grouping of tight ends / fullbacks. You have Kolar and Patrick Ricard. You can get something out of those guys. I mentioned Miller and Sims. Stepping up, doing a few things. You can get something out of those guys. And then there's Bateman, who's been a very good wide receiver for you this year. Aguilar could fill in. And so take Tylan Wallace. Why risk it? I don't think they're going to risk it at all. Because why? Why? You could risk increasing the severity of the injury. Why not give him more time? Save him for what you hope is going to be the AFC Championship game. So I don't think Zay Flowers is going to play at all, but that's just me. Next name on this list, Deontay Hardy. He's still on the injury report. I think most of that is because he doesn't have a roster spot yet. He has not been given a roster spot. He's not been taken off the... It's not necessarily the IR. It's the IR designated to return. Has a week or so to get back on. I feel like, of course, the downside is you would have to make room for him. As far as I can tell, Deontay Hardy is much more ready to go than Zay Flowers. Much more ready to go. And the only reason he hasn't been going is because he's not on a 53-man roster. So, I think it is kind of odd that they went with, Anthony Miller instead of Deontay Hardy. Like, who the hell is Anthony Miller? I didn't know who the hell that guy was. But, whatever. Oh, and you got Devontae Walker, who looked fairly good, got his first touchdown reception. So I feel like they got options, right? So Zay Flowers, I don't think is going to play. Deontay Hardy, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I guess because they feel like Sims is doing okay, even though Sims kind of bobbled the ball on a punt. You want to keep going with Sims? So I don't know. Let's get to an article here. This is where I'm getting some of the information. This article written by Ryan Mink, editorial director, and here it's talking about Zay Flowers and him having a chance, and also about Deontay Hardy, that it looks like Deontay Hardy is ready to get into a game, but is not on the 53-man roster. He is on that IR, eligible to return. So somebody else has his spot on the roster. So will John Harbaugh or Eric DeCosta decide to remove somebody to activate Deontay Hardy? To a certain extent, I'm sure some of this stems from, well, if Zay Flowers can't go, then we would like to have Deontay Hardy as an option. That kind of makes sense. Because they didn't do it last week, which was surprising. I guess they felt like they needed somebody else against Pittsburgh. I don't know. I feel like you could use somebody that can hold on to the ball during a punt. Because apparently every punt returner you have on this roster has been having some trouble securing punts. Desmond King had a few bobbles. Tylen Wallace had a few bobbles. Sims had a bobble last game. Is that just the nature of the beast? Did Sims last week have to do with it being Baltimore and it being cold and windy? Sure, it's possible. Is that going to be the case in Buffalo tomorrow? Probably. I would say so. So it would be nice to not only have, let's say, somebody with more punt return experience, but punt return experience in Buffalo. And yes, that would be Deontay Hardy. So, I don't know why he wasn't active last game. I really do expect him to be. Well, I say it's the right move. Now, who do you bring off? Well, I feel like between Anthony Miller and Steve Sims, I feel like you can pick one of those guys. I feel like you could pick one of those to get Deontay Hardy on this roster. I think they should do it. Because I feel like what I have come to understand about Deontay Hardy and watching him play, he's the better option. He has more punt return experience. He has experience doing it in Buffalo. And the climate that the Ravens are going to see, I guess they're already up there now, that we all will see watching the game tomorrow, he has experience in that climate. Why would you not? Right? Why would you not activate Deontay Hardy? Because I feel like ball security can be an issue, especially in the cold. What is something that gets affected by cold weather? And it's going to be cold as shit tomorrow. And tomorrow night. Yeah, let's send them all to Buffalo and do it at night. Not during the day when the sun's out and makes it a little warmer. Let's do it at night. Shit. I feel like that's why Lamar Jackson actually left that game, that last playoff game in Buffalo, where they lost. Because it was so cold, the ground was practically frozen. He got sacked and his head smacked on the ground. If the ground was a little softer, maybe his head wouldn't have smacked on the ground or as hard. There'd been a little bit more give, maybe. But not like I completely understand concussions and all that stuff. Might have a second coming of the Ice Bowl. But who knows? But again, you have a person on the roster that has experience playing in Buffalo. Why not use that to your advantage? Why Deontay Hardy's not on the roster right now, I don't know. It don't make no sense. Practicing all week. Seems like he's healthy. Hell, he practiced all week last week. Sure seems like he's ready to go. Look, if he wasn't healthy, why is he practicing full all week? Oh, okay. So either you're lying to everybody, like say maybe you are with Zay Flowers, or you're just dumb. Whatever. Go ahead. Put Steven Sims or Desmond King or Tylan Wallace back there to return punts and have them put the ball on the ground again. Of course, not that Deontay Hardy won't. But again, he has experience, more experience, punt returning, and experience doing it in the climate. And that's something they're going to need a lot of. It's going to be very cold. So, got a few guys on the roster that played in Canada, Brent Urban and Tavius Robinson. They're actually from Canada, which I saw that in an article. Shit, let me go find that so I'm not... What article was that? It's the one where they're talking to Roquan about the cold. Yeah, it was this one. This article written by Matt Ryan, editorial intern, talking to a few guys about what they do to play in cold weather. Well, Tavius Robinson and Brent Urban are actually from Canada, so they're very used to it. Which is right up there by Buffalo, ain't it? Yeah. Again, use that. Use that to your advantage. Alright, enough of this rambling on about nonsense. Game's not till tomorrow. It's a long 24 hours. Yes, tomorrow. Baltimore Ravens at Buffalo Bills, Highmark Stadium. Winner goes to the AFC Championship game and faces somebody, winner of one of the games today. According to this, CBS/Paramount will have the coverage. So you got TV coverage, you got streaming coverage, which is fine. You gotta have both. And you got radio coverage. Look at that. How about that? So that is going to do it for this edition of Ryno's Ravens preview. Please stay tuned for Monday, and I will review the game between the Baltimore Ravens and the Buffalo Bills. Please like the video and subscribe to the channel. I'm the Angry Ryno. Fly Ravens, fly.